What's going on, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to the Maple Leafs Media YouTube channel. I'm your guy, Jake. Although we haven't enjoyed the success as a team that we would want to, or any team would want to, really, we've had a lot of individual players that have achieved some great things. So let's break down the top 10 players of the past 10 seasons for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Starting with number 10, Jake Gardiner. It's no secret Leafs Nation has mixed feelings about Jake Gardiner. Just for a second, if you look past the bad turnovers and those costly mistakes and actually examine the body of work, you'll see that Jake Gardiner was actually a very good top 4 defenseman for our team. There's absolutely no denying how important Jake Gardiner's role as a top 4 defenseman for the Maple Leafs was. He played for our team for 8 seasons, and over that time, we didn't really have many great defenders. Morgan Rielly and him have been the 2 focal points of our defense for a long time. Jake Gardiner played defense for the Toronto Maple Leafs for 8 seasons, and he was one of the most reliable options that we had. Over his last 3 seasons with the Toronto Maple Leafs, Jake Gardiner averaged over 21 minutes per game. So he was on the ice for a good chunk of the games, and he was averaging over a period of play per game. That's huge. Those minutes that are being eaten up, they come on special teams and during regular play. Over those 8 seasons, Jake Gardiner had a plus-minus of +9. On this Maple Leafs team, that cannot be easy. Having that positive plus-minus just demonstrates that you are on ice more often when your team's scoring than when they're not scoring and having the puck put in their net. Dressing in 551 games for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Gardiner posted 245 points with 200 assists and 45 goals. Number 9 on this list, William Nylander. After being drafted by Toronto 8th overall in 2014, Nylander spent 2 seasons with the Toronto Marlies in the AHL to develop before he actually made his NHL debut. Last season, Nylander was criticized a lot for 2 main things, really, and I believe they correlate. That was his holdout and his poor performance. How do these things correlate? Well, when you sit out that extended period of time and you're not with your team, you're not bonding with them, first of all. You're not building that chemistry. You're not going to click the right way. Second, when you're holding out for that extended period of time, you're just going to be slower than everybody else. Your hands, your feet, you're not going to be able to get moving like some of the other guys on the ice. But when it comes to the contract holdout and how people are criticizing him for that, honestly, it's a business, and I can't really criticize him for what he wants to do with his money. He earned it, I'm fine with it. He can get his payday, he can do what he's got to do to get his money. Last season, his contributions were minimal because of the whole holdout, but now this season, it was much better, and I think for years to come, it's going to be a lot better. And in 10 years, when I make this list again, I think Nylander's going to be higher up on this list. Nylander's speed and playmaking ability are absolutely undeniable. But what some people would like to see is him get into some of the dirty areas more. Be a little more of a team player. Over 307 games played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Nylander has 86 goals, 135 assists, and 221 points. By the time Nylander's career is said and done, he could be one of the all-time greats. Number 8, James Van Riemsdyk. Remember when the Maple Leafs acquired JVR in a trade for Luke Schenn? Yeah, me too. Over 6 seasons in Toronto, JVR was a great goal scorer, and he posted under 25 goals just twice, in 2013's shortened season and in another year where he was injured and played just 40 games. Over 413 games with the Toronto Maple Leafs, JVR quickly became a fan favorite by parking his butt in front of the net and scoring 154 goals for a total of 294 points. 7th on this list is Frederik Andersen. Let me just start by saying that playing in goal behind this Maple Leafs defense cannot be easy. But since Freddie's arrival in 2016-2017, the Maple Leafs have made the playoffs every single season. And improved playing goal definitely has something to do with it. Over his time with the Maple Leafs, he has posted 13 shutouts with a .916 save percentage and a 2.77 goals against average, which is good enough for 136 regular season wins. 6th on this list, Nazem Kadri. Over his 10 seasons in Toronto, Nazem Kadri was the heart and soul of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. Over 10 seasons in Toronto, Kadri only played over 80 games twice, but in both those seasons, he posted over 30 goals. Kadri's contributions to the Maple Leafs organization cannot be overstated. Kadri is also the longest tenured Leaf on this list and totaled 161 goals with 357 total points in 561 games played. Sure, his playoff suspensions were silly, stupid, whatever you want to call them. They were all of the above. But there's one thing that Kadri was, and he was a team player. And that's something you got to respect. He stood up for his teammates, which isn't something you see much in the NHL anymore. And that's something deserving of respect. Kadri was someone that Leafs Nation loved and was very sad to see go. But his tenure in Toronto was definitely a memorable one, and one that I think Leafs Nation will look back and reflect on for years. Fifth on this list is our captain, John Tavares. On July 1st, 2018, Tavares and the Maple Leafs agreed to a mega 7-year deal to bring him to his hometown. Listen, okay, I know some of you are going to say that his sample size is too small. He hasn't played here long enough to be this high on the list. But he's averaged over a point per game in his time here. In 145 games played with the Leafs, Tavares has 73 goals, 75 assists, along with 148 total points. We all know that the Maple Leafs have struggled this year. But to those that have said that Tavares is the reason for that, stop! Seriously, this is going to drive me crazy, okay? Leafs Nation, what did you do? What are you talking about? Finally, we signed our free agent. We finally got the guy who's our hometown hero. And now we're just going to drive him away? Say that, oh, he wanted too much money. He's not playing up to that contract. He's not a leader. He's not this. He's not that. No, he's going to come out there. He's going to give you goals. He's a leader in the locker room. And he's somebody who's always wanted to play in Toronto. Let's not ruin his dream, and let's not take away the chance for something special to be created with Austin Matthews, John Tavares, Mitch Marner, and all the rest of this team. Because John Tavares is somebody that you don't want to drive him away. You want Tavares on your team. So listen, please, we have our hometown hero. Finally. Now let's not drive him away. Fourth on this list is Phil Kessel. Hot dog Phil. Leafs Nation, I want you to think about something. Phil Kessel received a lot of criticism when he was playing with the Leafs. But did he really deserve it? You know, Phil Kessel, just like Dion Phaneuf, just like Jake Gardiner, is a perfect example of Leafs fans expecting too much from their players. I mean, just look at Pittsburgh. They use Phil Kessel as a second-line scorer. They win 2 Stanley Cups. Kessel played in Toronto during some really tough times, but at least for fans, he made it at least a bit more enjoyable and somewhat watchable. Over 446 games in a Maple Leafs uniform, Kessel had 181 goals with 213 assists for a total of 394 points. Maybe people did expect too much from Phil. I mean, at the end of his duration in Toronto, people are complaining about his defense. He's a goal scorer. Number 3, Morgan Rielly. Rielly is the longest tenured member of the Maple Leafs' current roster and the longest tenured member of this list. Rielly has been Toronto's best defenseman for years, and last year was no different, where he posted 20 goals and 52 assists. That was good enough for 5th place in the running for the Norris Trophy as the league's best defenseman. That just shows you how good of a defenseman Morgan Rielly really is. I think of Morgan Rielly as someone who's in the league's top tier of defensemen. At just 25 years old, he has many great years ahead of him, and he has plenty of time to make more contributions for this team on both offense and defense. Rielly contributes to the offense a lot for a defenseman, with 54 goals, 216 assists, and 270 total points over 517 career games played. Now, number 2 might be a surprise. Some people might have these guys flip-flopped. And if you don't have one of these 2 here, you don't know what you're talking about. Number 2 is Mitch Marner. Drafted 4th overall in 2015, Mitch Marner came to the NHL with high expectations, and he's been a crucial piece in the Maple Leafs' recent regular season success. Up until the start of this season, Marner has led the Maple Leafs in points scored for the last 3 consecutive seasons. Marner has incredible speed and incredible playmaking ability that allows John Tavares and Austin Matthews just to get to the front of the net or just find their way open somewhere. And Mitch Marner is going to find them, and it's going to make their job much easier. Mitch Marner has over 200 assists already in his young career. In 300 games played, Marner has 83 goals, 208 assists for 291 points. Marner is one of the young pieces that this Leafs team wants to build around for the next 10 to 15 years, and they want to take it and win multiple cups with them. Marner had that mega contract extension before the season, and he's going to have a chance to earn it this year in the playoffs. Last year, Marner's playoff performance wasn't all that great. He had 4 points in 7 games against the Bruins. But this year he has a chance to earn the money that he got in that contract this offseason in the playoffs, which is when you actually make your money. First on this list, Austin Matthews. After being drafted 1st overall by a Maple Leafs organization that needed a star to turn this organization around, Austin Matthews decided to say, I'm here and I'm not waiting to make an impact, as he did it super quickly. In game number 1 of his young career, he scored 4 goals against the Ottawa Senators. Austin Matthews might have the best wrist shot I've ever seen, and he would have had over 50 goals this season if it wasn't for the stupid virus. Either way, Matthews has made an impact in his young career already, and he's averaged over a point per game with 158 goals scored, 127 assists, totaling for 285 points with 282 games played. Just how great do you think Austin Matthews could be? I've made a video about that on my channel, but I think he could go down as the greatest Leaf of all time. But in order to do that, he needs to do a couple things. First, he needs to help this team get to a Stanley Cup and win a Stanley Cup. And second, he needs to maintain the level of play that we saw this season, or close to it, for another 5 to 10 years at least. These past 10 years of Maple Leafs hockey haven't exactly been the best 10 years of Maple Leafs hockey at all. But I think this next 10 years is poised to be a great one. If it's the best or the greatest, that remains to be seen. But I have a lot of hope for this young talent that we have in Marner, NYLANDER, Matthews, Hyman. We've got a bunch of talent, and we just need to see them work together, come together for a good cause, and to lift that Stanley Cup. I'll be making this video every decade, so see you in 10 years. But honestly, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think and who you'd change about my top 10 list. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.